We're attaching a patio cover to an existing deck. Here's the entire process from securing the posts to attaching it to the roof. We're getting ready to mount the beam to the deck and the hanging rail to the roof. These acrylic panels we're using are 4 foot wide. So basically these beams are 24 feet, 3.5 inches wide, so that we can do a 4 foot on center layout. So this beam is laid out every 48 inches. We're gonna put some beauty caps on the ends of these so that it covers up this outside trim. So now that we know the width, we're going up here on this deck right here, and we're basically covering this entire deck with the patio cover. These rafters are allowed to span 14 feet. So we need to go up on the deck and mark out where 14 feet is so we know where to put our post blocking. We're gonna frame some blocking into the deck, into the joists, so we have a really awesome uplift capability so things don't want to blow away in the wind, okay? Once that's figured out, then we need to go up there onto the existing roof line and add some blocking in the eaves so we can do the same thing, because we're gonna have 4 different roof mounts that are gonna attach right to the roof, right through into our blocking, and then we'll flash that and caulk that all up, and then we can start running our rafters. Here's 14 feet, so we have to have a post somewhere in this location for the cover. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna come back a little bit because this side of the deck sticks out further than the roof line that we're gonna be at. So I have to come back this way a little bit as well. So I thought it'd be nice if we came back about the same distance from this edge as this edge and be a little bit symmetrical. So I'm gonna center this post right in the middle of this board. So we're gonna go 166 1/4, and this is where I wanna put my post. I'm gonna go ahead and center it. Now there's a base plate cover that's gonna go over the top of this. This will all be covered. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pre-drill the holes I need, because then it'll show me down below where I need to put my block. I might need a longer drill bit. I don't think I'm getting through the bottom of the wood on the block that's already in here. Okay, there's my 4 holes. We're into something solid on these two, so we're gonna have to add a block underneath on this side so that when this base plate goes in, we're locking down to something solid. So we're in a similar situation. We have nothing below this deck board right here, and then we have a solid blocking right here. All right, I can see the holes that I had drilled from upstairs, so I'm gonna put a solid block across here and tie it into this joist, these joists, and this side block here, and that should be plenty of support for the patio cover. 2 of the base plate legs are gonna go right into this block right here. So this should fit just like that. Now I gotta get a couple fasteners in it. So I'm gonna start with a couple of these 6-inch timber locks. I'm gonna angle a couple of screws this way, and I'm gonna use some more 4-inch timber locks. All right, so on this side, one of them's into a solid block, but then we have to add a block on each side of this joist. And this one, we're just going through one joist on each side. Okay, that block's installed. Okay, now that we have the blocking in for the posts, we need to cut the heights of the posts, which we've predetermined by measuring the high side of the cover, which is at the house, and deducting 1 inch per foot for drainage. So there's 14 feet to the post and the beam, so we're dropping 14 inches total, and that gave us a height on our posts of 8'6". But I'm cutting 1 inch shorter at 8'5" because we want to create some drainage. This is a piece of flashing. This is gonna go in between the layers of the roofing, and when the water comes down the roof line, it's gonna hit this and it's gonna go around where our roof mount is, which is below this. So we need to slip these up into the roofing and make it ready for flashing. Once we know where these are located, then we can install our blocks so we can be able to mount the roof mounts through the roof. And then we'll use some Sashco through the roof sealant to lock those bolts in and keep them nice and dry so they don't leak. All of our mounts are gonna be to the outside of the eave, so if it does ever leak, we can find the leak and repair it instead of it going into the house and ruining the wall. Once that flashing's installed, we need to put a solid block. We'll put one right here in this eave so that wherever we end up putting a roof mount will go through the roof, through this plywood, and into our solid blocking. Those will need to be painted in the future. Once that's all the way in, that's where our roof bracket's gonna go. All right, my blocks are cut. I'm gonna go start installing them up in the eave so we can get those roof mounts done. So here's our roof mount bracket. It's a 2-piece part. So one piece gets bolted through like this. So you have your angle of your roof, and then you have this piece that sits up like so. This houses a hanging rail that all the rafters will sit on. So I'm just gonna center this up, or at least get it on a flat spot on the roof, and then I'm gonna put 4 3-inch stainless steel screws through the roofing. And then we're also gonna pull this down to 5 inches to this line. This is a pretty straight line. And then this will be pulled down to that like so. We try to keep this bracket as straight as possible. So I'm gonna put my square up against it. Now that this is installed, okay, and it's installed very well, we can go ahead and put our roof mount bracket. We're just gonna leave this kind of in this position right here. So we'll drill another hole right here. We'll end up putting through 2 bolts, and then we'll lock these down, and then this roof mount's ready to go. Tighten that up, and then this roof mount's done. That ain't going nowhere. We are ready to put our beam in place. So we have these special brackets that are already hooked to the beam. We're gonna raise the beam up, get those brackets inside the posts, and then we can shift our beam back and forth to rack it into square with the hanging rail that we've already installed on the roof. Okay, I'm in. Okay. All right, our hanging rail's in, our beam's in. Now we're gonna install our rafters. Yes. We wanna get our outside rafters on first, the outside 2, so that we can rack this frame into square, and then it's just dropping in the rest of the rafters. So we have one side done, the post is plumb over there. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna adjust that far end of the beam right and left to make it square to this hanging rail, and then we'll lock the beam in with 1 screw. Dang. The beam has to go this way. Good. Stay on the side of the rails for a sec, and then just, you know, be careful where you put it. All right, so now that our frame is in, we are going to start putting the acrylic panels up into these bays. That's the next step. And then as we go, we flash it and we put the closure caps on, and that completes the system. Perfect. More? These are big panels that are square. We tried to square this cover up as good as we could, but it's a little bit out of rack. So we're pulling some screws out that we left in the beam side for safety. And now we're gonna pull those out, and we're gonna rack the beam this way a little bit to get this panel a little more equally gapped inside of these spaces. So once that's done, then we can just keep putting in our acrylic, and then we'll go back and lock it all together when we're done. Okay, you gotta come my way, oh, quite a bit. You gotta come up first. There we go. Okay, let me get my end in, you ready? From bare deck to covered outdoor space, that's the full process. Have a great day.